Right here, inside of an apple, is already a root. Is an apple tree started. That's what I'm looking for. And this is how we begin our food forest, by growing apple trees. If the apples are no good, what I'll have to do is use these as a rootstock. All this goes into the biodigester, aka the WickerShire Stinky Tea. Again, we're going to let this age for a year. I'm going to have watermelons growing, and once they start flowering and fruiting, I'll be tapping into this stalk just to water them gently. In the next month or two, these NPK levels will be pretty low. But after a year of aging, 6 months to a year, preferably a year, this will biodigest into a sludge down the bottom, which is delicious and great for the plants, but it's the nutrient water that I'm looking for. What I want to do for those apples is get a good drainage base, that way it doesn't muck up. I've got some holes on the bottom of this coffee creamer can. It's got print on here, there's no paper. Could add rocks, I don't like rocks in containers. Could add wood chips, but I think it takes away from the nitrogen process that's going to be in here, and they are young plants. So I'm left with collecting grass, ripping it up, stuff it in the bottom, then filling the soil in on top. So this is what I'm using for the base. And I'm just going to shred this. It is about half full. This will rot down and this will compress, and this will provide extended nutrients for the plant as those roots from the apple tree, the apple seeds, go back down and dig into this. The other medium I want is kind of a natural medium. So the soil I'm choosing is the native, since that is what it'll be growing in. So we're going to use the leaf mold and the natural broken down topsoil that is here. Show you what that looks like. It's pretty dark and rich. And I just got to filter it. It's just mostly leaf mold, a little bit of dirt, small bits of soil all through that. We just got to filter it out. That's what we're left with on the screen. This should be a fairly fast process. just pull out any sticks that might have gone through the screen. Let your hands do the work, give your plants some love, feel everything. Again, when you hit something, chuck it. You don't have to go too crazy, just kind of get the big stuff out. Pack it down, just give it a few taps, gets the air out. And we're ready to plant into. This native soil will be enough to feed them and take care of them for a while. You don't have to do anything crazy making super soil. You don't have to add anything to this. It's loaded with fungi. It's loaded with basically a ton of enzymes and bacteria, lots of minerals that are broken down from the forest, and that's all your fruit trees need to start. You don't have to spend any money on potting soil. It'd just be a waste. This is going to be one of the easiest way to make apple trees. We don't get anything from them in the next 3 or 4 years. Then we know that they're not a dwarf variety and that it's a full-grown tree. The last bits of things that I'm doing is I'm adding some leaf to the top of this to seal it in. This will retain moisture, so in case I forget about to watering it, it should be okay until the next rain. And that's it. It's good to go. Those trees will push up through this. And then once they come up, we'll transplant them. We're just going to add the label to this. Adding the label, which is a Pink Lady apple tree, and this is the rootstock started in 2024 of May. So today's video is kind of a little bit of behind the scenes. I don't like showing it. It's just me working in the garden. Today's task, I have to go stake the tomatoes. They are starting to lean over. So them touching the tarp in the ground is not a good thing. I'm going to need them to trellis up. Figured I'd film it. Why not? Problem is I don't really have a good tripod or place to put it other than you guys looking at my feet while I work. Can do it at a distance. Pop it on that stump over there. And I'll use the fast forward mode. If you guys want to watch me work, I don't think anyone wants to sit here for a half hour while I go into the forest and dig out ideal tree branches to use. So far, sticks that are fairly straight, that are at least 3 feet long or 48 inches. Some of these are smaller, it's okay. We now have everything staked up and off the ground or anything that's leaning over. Now you want to do this early on. Make sure you have your stakes in the ground. Don't be like me and let them get 3 or 4 weeks old and lay over. You're going to get heavy curves. You can see heavy curves. If you try to straighten that, you'll end up breaking it. This is the blooper part. Gail's weeding out her carrots. She's thinned them, what's this, the 3rd time? So there's things you do and don't do. She's guaranteeing she's going to get a carrot harvest, but it's grown like grass in there. Her pepper plants, these are her sweet bananas. They're starting to flower. Cut edit. She's got those ceramic glazed pots, but they're not glazed on the bottom. The glazing just prevents the evaporation, but down here, right there, right where the soil meets, that's all. This looks like her pepper plant. She's got baby choy growing as long as the weather stays nice and cool. This is her Detroit red beets. These, Cliff, if you're interested, these are her peanut plants. Tennessee Reds. She's got her rain barrel or her water barrel. We'll get that set up and filled, and pump system. Maybe a cheap solar drip system, irrigation system at some point. Zucchinis. On each of her corners is the asparagus. There's 4 of them total. In the center row are all her tomatoes. She just pulled one out. We're going to replace it. Didn't look well. Chives are garlic. Onions. Oh, bunching green onions. More than likely these are bunching green onions. In this row. And on this back row is carrot grass. I'm kidding. Carrots that need to be thinned, and she's already thinned them. So, but we'll have to thin them again and again and again. I think the whole package, all 100 seeds are in there. But for those of you who cannot grow carrots, if you look at what she did, she's actually growing carrots. Even though she has to thin them, they sprouted. As opposed to like dropping dead and having problems and issues, she's got carrots. Not a problem there at all. We're checking on this other summer squash or zucchini.
It's a squash that
it is.
Russell gave us.
So more than likely it's a zucchini or summer squash. We detected 2 females. There's one down in there. I don't know if the camera will pick it up. There it is. That little green thing. And then there's another one in the little cluster down there. It's right at the tip of my finger. See that? The stem goes to the flower base, and those are your male flowers. If you have tons of male flowers, you can just snip these off, wash them, and fry them up in some oil and garlic and salt them, and just eat them. So Gail had just transplanted her parsleys out of her starters, and all her basil just went in.